Why do we stay where our heart is already tired, even when a part of us knows it is time to go? That is the question many people silently carry. Because on the outside, it can look simple. People say, just leave. People say, if it is hurting you, walk away. People say it as though the heart is something that obeys orders instantly, but real life is rarely that clean. And in this video, we are going to talk about why it is so hard to leave a relationship that no longer feels like home, why people hold on long after the peace is gone, and why letting go can feel like losing more than just a person. Because sometimes what makes it hard to leave is not love itself. Sometimes it is the memory of love. There is a certain kind of heartbreak that does not always look dramatic. It does not always come with shouting. It does not always come with tears in public. Sometimes it looks like quiet disappointment. It looks like reading a message and feeling nothing. It looks like sitting next to someone and feeling distant. It looks like being in a relationship, yet feeling emotionally alone. And that is what makes it so confusing, because the relationship is still there. But the feeling that once made it feel warm, safe, and alive is gone. So you begin to ask yourself, why does this feel so heavy now? Why am I still here? Why can I not just walk away? The first reason is simple, but powerful. People get attached to what is familiar. The mind does not always chase what is best. Sometimes it chases what it knows. Even when a relationship becomes painful, it can still feel easier to stay, because you already understand the pattern. You know how the arguments go. You know how the silence follows. You know how the apologies sound. You know how the cycle repeats. And strangely, that pattern can feel safer than the unknown, because leaving means stepping into a future you cannot fully predict. And for many people, uncertainty is scarier than unhappiness. Another reason is emotional history. A relationship is never built in one day. It is built in moments. Shared laughter, private conversations, long nights, plans for the future. Promises made when both people believed in them. So when things begin to fall apart, you are not only reacting to what is happening now, you are reacting to everything that came before it. You remember who they used to be. You remember who you used to be with them. And because of that, it becomes harder to accept the present for what it is. You keep reaching back into the past, hoping it can explain the present. But sometimes the past is only proof that things once worked. It is not always proof that they still do. Then there is hope. Hope can be beautiful. Hope can keep a person alive through hard seasons. But hope can also keep a person trapped in the wrong place for too long, because hope always whispers about possibility. Maybe they will change. Maybe things will improve. Maybe this rough season will pass. Maybe the person I fell in love with is still in there somewhere. And because hope speaks softly, it can sound wise. It can sound loyal. It can sound like love. But sometimes hope is just delay wearing a gentle face. There is also the fear of loss. When people think of leaving, they often think only about losing the partner. But that is not the whole story. You may also be losing the routine, losing the shared identity, losing the future you imagined, losing the family or friends connected to the relationship, losing the version of life you had already started building in your mind. That is why breaking away can feel so painful. It is not only one loss, it is a stack of losses. And when the heart sees all of that at once, it can freeze. For many people, there is also a hidden fear of starting over. Starting over sounds hopeful when you say it from far away. It sounds brave. It sounds freeing, but in the moment, it can feel exhausting, because starting over means learning how to be alone again, learning how to trust again, learning how to rebuild your peace from the ground up. And that can be intimidating, especially if the relationship has taken a lot out of you. Sometimes people remain in the wrong relationship, not because it is right, but because they do not yet trust themselves to begin again. There is another reason that is often overlooked: guilt. Some people stay because they do not want to hurt the other person. They think, what if they fall apart? What if they blame themselves? What if I am being selfish? and so they keep carrying a relationship that is already empty just to protect someone else from pain. But carrying a dead connection out of guilt does not heal either person. It only prolongs the suffering, because a relationship cannot survive on responsibility alone. It needs truth, mutual care, and emotional honesty. Without that, it becomes a burden instead of a bond. Sometimes the hardest part is admitting the truth to yourself. That is where many people get stuck, not because they cannot see the signs, but because seeing the signs means accepting what they mean. And acceptance is painful. It means saying, this is not what I hoped it would be. It means saying, this is no longer working. It means saying, I have been trying to revive something that is already gone. That kind of honesty can shake a person deeply, because once you admit it, you cannot keep pretending. And pretending is often the glue that keeps a broken relationship in place for a little longer. There's also something deeply human about clinging to potential. Many people do not stay for what the relationship is. They stay for what they think it could become. They fall in love with the dream, the better version of the person, the better version of the relationship, the better version of the future. And because potential is invisible, it can be hard to argue with. You cannot point at it and say, this is not real. It lives in imagination, and imagination is powerful enough to make people tolerate things they should never have to endure. But at some point, reality always asks to be seen. And when it does, you begin to notice the signs you tried to ignore. You start feeling drained after every conversation. You start feeling alone even when they are beside you. You start missing yourself. Your energy feels different. Your peace feels thinner. Your joy feels quieter. And little by little you realize that staying is costing more than leaving would. That is the moment many people call confusion. But it is not always confusion. Sometimes it is clarity beginning to speak. Your heart may still be attached, but your spirit is beginning to notice the truth. And truth has a way of becoming louder when silence stops protecting the lie. So why is it so hard to leave a relationship that no longer feels like home? Because leaving is not just ending love, it is ending habit, it is ending hope, it is ending identity, it is ending comfort, it is ending the version of life you thought you would have. That is a lot to let go of, and that is why people stay longer than they should, not because they are foolish, not because they do not see, but because the human heart does not separate cleanly from what it has held onto for so long. Still, there is an important truth to remember. A relationship that no longer feels like home does not become home again, simply because you keep surviving in it. Peace is not something you should have to beg for every day. Love is not supposed to feel like emotional labor all the time. And belonging is not supposed to feel like constant shrinking. Sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is admit that what once felt like home no longer does. Not with bitterness. Not with hate. Just honesty. Because honesty is the first step toward healing. And healing begins when you stop asking yourself how to keep holding on and start asking yourself what your heart has been trying to tell you all along. So if this is where you are, be gentle with yourself. You are not weak because it is hard. You are not broken because you have been holding on. You are simply standing at a difficult emotional threshold where your heart is learning that love alone is not always enough. And that realization, painful as it is, can also be the beginning of freedom. If this video spoke to you, like, share, and subscribe for more deep conversations about relationships, emotions, healing, and self-awareness. Someone out there may need this today.